We have the agenda review session first. We have no second reading ordinances. We have ordinance for discussion on first reading. Number one, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1020, Handicap Parking, Section 10-2010, Schedule 39, Parking Zone for Handicapped Persons, adding 49 Duke Street and 53 Paul Boulevard. We have resolutions. Number one, re-adopt 2020 meeting schedule. 2, approve agenda amendment. 3, council designation of liaisons to various authorities, boards, and commissions for 2020. Board of Education, Councilmember Glenn Fleming. Housing Authority, Councilmember Rebecca Escobar. Human Relations, Council President John Anderson. Parking Authority, Councilmember Kevin P. Egan. Citizens Recreation, Councilmember Glenn Fleming. Number 4, designation of council members of Planning Board, Class 3, 2020, Council Vice President Suzanne M. Ludwig. 5, designation of council members of Board of Directors of City Market Incorporated for 2020, Council Vice President Suzanne M. Ludwig. 6, approve 2020 temporary city budget. 7, designation of bank depositories and cash management plan for 2020. 8, fixed interest rate on delinquent taxes and water sewer charges for 2020. Number 9, authorize cancellation of tax delinquencies of less than $10 in 2020. 10, authorize direct mailing charges and costs associated with tax sale. 11, authorize chief financial officer to sell bond anticipation or capital notes at private sale for 2020. 12, authorize tax collector to make tax refunds less than $10 for 2020. 13, authorize city engineer to execute land use regulatory permit 1, LURP, TWA forms and soil erosion and sediment control applications in 2020. 14, authorize city engineer and mayor to execute right of entry permit forms in 2020. 15, authorize city engineer to execute hold harmless indemnity agreements in 2020. 16, authorize tax assessor to file tax appeals and with special counsel file counterclaims before the Middlesex County Tax Board and Northern Jersey Tax Court. 17, designate public agency compliance officer Marie James for 2020. 18, resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contract vendors for contracting units pursuant to New Jersey statute annotated 40A 11-12A by the purchasing agent. 19, authorize advertisement and receipt of bids for various goods, supplies, and services in 2020. 20, authorize city engineer to sign site remediation project documents submitted to the NJDEP. 21, resolution authorizing the cancellation of various outstanding checks. 22, designation of official newspaper for 2020. 23, authorized refund for redeemed tax sale certificates. 24 has been pulled as unnecessary by the tax assessor. 25, advise and consent the Library Board of Trustees appointment, Julianne Alcino, expiring December 31st, 2020. Advise and consent the Parks and Gardens Commission reappointment and appointment, Judith Durica, December 31st, 2022, 3 years. Clara Haynes, December 31st, 2020. Advise and consent to Property Maintenance Code Board of Appeals reappointments, Peter Lampin, Thomas Valenti, expiring December 31st, 2021, 2 years. 28, advise and consent to Senior Citizen Advisory Council Board appointments, Eva Alford, Edwina Armstrong, Margaret Booker, Annie Felton, Thelma Cassay, Rosa Ortiz, Elsa Acevedo, expiring December 31st, 2021, 2 years. 29, advise and consent to Board of Ethics reappointment, Brother Jude Lasota, December 31st, 2024, 5 years. 30, advise and consent to Community Arts Council reappointments, named Robert Belvin and Melissa Pepin, expiring December 31st, 2022, 2 years. 31, advise and consent to Rent Control Board reappointments and appointments, named Barbara Blackwell, alternate member, Samuel Basin, alternate member, expired December 31st, 2020, 1 year, and Daniel Patrick Coughlin, regular member, December 31st, 2020, expired. 32, advise and consent to Traffic Commission Board reappointments, Carol Rayside, Gail Locker, expiring December 31st, 2022, 3 year, Edwin Keefe, expiring December 31st, 2021. 33, advise and consent to Cable Television Citizens Advisory Committee reappointments, Bobby Virgil, expiring December 31st, 2022, 3 years, and Shada Draper, Board of Education representative, expired December 31st, 2020, 1 year. Items for the council and public comments at the end. All set. Call to order.
Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Here. Council President Anderson.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act are complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of time and place and conduct of all public meetings in the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the City Clerk and placed on the official bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You could remain. A moment of silence for our men and women in our armed forces, both here and abroad, especially those who have given the ultimate sacrifice of their life, for those coming back who are hurt. Thank you.
Chairman, the approval of minutes, I don't see the date on there.
We don't have one.
You don't have it?
No. Report of correspondence by the City Clerk's office.
There are none.
Would you writing to us anymore? We have no readings on second reading, but we have an item for a first reading ordinance. Number one, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1020, Handicap Parking, Section 10-2010, Schedule 39, Parking Zone for Handicapped Persons, adding 49 Duke Street and 53 Falls Boulevard.
Move the ordinance setting down Wednesday, January 15th, 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. We have resolutions 1 to 33, not including number 24. If any member from the public would like to comment on the resolution, please come to the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record, and we have up to 5 minutes at one time.
Thank you, Mr. President. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. I'd like to ask about the very first one. If you recall, I asked when you were planning out your schedule for the 2020 meetings that you could please try to not have them conflict with the Housing Authority meetings. I know the November and the December ones do. You said you'd take it under advisement. Respectfully, would you be willing to change those meeting dates so they don't conflict?
Yeah, I took it under advisement and decided what it is.
Okay, and that was your decision?
Well, I asked around a little.
You asked the other council members? Really?
Asked around.
Okay, so all of the council members are okay having the November and December meetings conflict with the Housing Authority meeting?
If not, they'll vote no on number 1.
Okay, well, I certainly hope the liaison to the Housing Authority will vote no on that, because as a result of the, continued conflict in the meeting schedules, there was a really shady thing that was done at the last Housing Authority meeting, and she wasn't there to see it because she had to be here, and I don't blame her for being here, but thankfully I was there, and I brought my camera there, and you can all watch it for yourselves, and I'll talk about it a little more during the public comment period, but I really think that in order for watchdogs to function properly, we shouldn't have to choose between city council or housing authority meetings. There's enough days in the month that they can be on different days. And respectfully, you're creating a situation where it makes corruption easier to happen. And I don't think you're intentionally doing that, but I truly think that the housing authority has had a history of problems. And I know Ms. Escobar has been there for some of it. And, I was glad that she came to some of the meetings in the past. And I just think that setting up a situation where even your own liaison can't attend is a bad public policy.
I go somewhere, your point, Mr. Cradaville, but since it's just 2 months, November and December, I think that is just point of just me missing one of this and going to that one, so the conflict is not as a challenge for next year as it was for this year, that it was a lot, so. Because only November and December will be conflicting, right?
Right, that's usually how it is
So I
because of the
just,
holidays.
in November and December, you will see me here, you will see me at the Housing Authority, okay?
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Anybody else in the public wish to comment on any of the resolutions? Seeing none?
Move the resolutions.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Items for discussion by the council. Happy New Year to everybody. It's a good 2020. Anybody else?
Happy New Year.
Thank you, same thing. Happy New Year. Brunswick did put on a good show again every year in every town. It's an open secret that we should really promote a little bit more right out here. And it seems like it gets bigger every year. And so it's in comparison to like, I don't even bother thinking about New York City anymore. You know, it's an excellent show. I think we should promote that a little bit more.
Okay. We'll have public comment. If anybody wishes to comment on anything in the world, feel free to come to the microphone. You have 5 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record to begin. One time up, please.
Good evening, and sincere Happy New Year to you and the council. Look forward to working with you over the next decade. As far as the ADA violation on the Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas campus, what's the update? Can you ask the planning director?
Sure.
The last time we were here was last Friday. It was holidays in the way. Nothing has happened since we met last. There's been no change since last Friday.
Okay, and at the last meeting, the planning director stated that this was Rutgers property, and essentially Rutgers is above the law in terms of zoning. However, the violation spans 2 properties. One is a Rutgers property, has been for a couple years. The other one is private property, is Robert Wood Johnson property. I sent this in writing to the planning director. Is he going to write a violation letter, or someone, the zoning officer, going to write a violation letter to Robert Wood for violating the site plan conditions?
That I'll have to review if the elevator, which side it's on. I believe the elevator's on the Rutgers side, though. Is this true?
Yes, the interior walkway, however, which is a condition of approval to have the interior walkway, is on private property.
Well, we're hoping to, do a 2-for-1 solution for both of the problems that we're having there. And I do not intend to write a violation for this issue. We're hoping to rectify it without having it to come to that.
Okay, is there a timeline when this might be rectified? This has been going on for years.
It's maybe been going on for years, but it was brought to our attention only in the recent history. I guess October is when you brought it to our attention. We're still working on it. I mean, not to push this off, but we're talking about multiple levels of bureaucracy. We're talking city. We're talking about a hospital. We're talking about the Rutgers, and now possibly federal ADA. There's multiple levels here. It will take time. We're working hard to try and resolve it, but it will take time.
Well, how about this? I had a source tell me that the elevator portion, which is the most egregious violation, that actually the elevator's not broken. If I said that before, I was wrong. I believe it was turned off. So can you ask the planning director if he has any insight of whether it's broken or if it's turned off?
I've only been there once, and physically, elevator did not work. There was no power to it. I don't know what the root cause of the lack of power to the site is, but I will confirm that there's clearly no power to the elevator itself. Now, whether that was intentional or not, I don't know.
And that's what my source tells me, and I believe that this is abhorrent behavior for Rutgers State University to create an ADA violation.
If it's true.
Yeah, well, it's a reliable source. So I would like, hey, if you can prove me wrong, go ahead. You've had 3 months to get the answers.
We'll find out. We'll try and negotiate.
Okay, well, Rutgers is not above the ADA.
Nobody.
Okay, well, I'd like to see the city step up more,
Sometimes you gotta fight your battles. Maybe we can talk nicely to them and we can get something under them or whatever.
I brought it up at their board meeting, I brought it up at the planning board, I brought it up everywhere, and there's been 0 progress. So,
Things take time.
okay, well, I mean, it's disrespectful to people with disabilities. So, I would hurry it up, would be my suggestion. Does anybody here know Robert DeAnton?
But I can think of right now.
Okay, so his company is called AST Development. They're the ones who built 10 Plum Street, and I believe the parking garage that is known as Plum Street Garage. While you were here meeting in December, the Housing Authority approved a concept plan for them to build a 15-story building at the corner of Somerset and Plum. And I have some very serious concerns about conflicts of interest with that. I just know that, back in 2006, Ms. Escobar was on the Housing Authority Board, and there was a resolution related to this, and I actually got the resolution. I saw that you did recuse yourself from that vote, and I know it was a long time ago. Do you remember if you have a conflict of interest with the developer, or whether it was something else?
I don't think it was with the developer, to be honest with you.
Maybe Robert Wood?
Maybe Robert Wood at that time, could have been, I don't know, so I can kind of definitely answer that question.
Understood. It was a long time ago, but I'm concerned that the chairman of the board may have a conflict of interest with the developer, and I'm also concerned about the council to the Housing Authority having a conflict. And so I'll be following up on these things and just encourage the council to keep an eye on this, because it seems like this is, really, bad situation that folks are getting their way, despite violating all sorts of rules and not being ethical. And I'll just close with this. There was no code blue last night. I think it got down to 23 degrees. And
Or 20 degrees is
right. And I think 23 is too cold to be leaving people out there. And I'm glad these meetings are videotaped, and I want to thank the mayor's office for doing that, because folks can go back and see what people said earlier this year when promises were made that we were going to change it to 25-degree threshold. And Mr. Jones stated that he came up with a great new system for staggering the volunteer shifts so that we'd be able to achieve this increase in the delivery of the service. And now that's been taken away. And 23 degrees isn't any warmer than it was earlier this year. Highland Park did a code blue, by the way. Highland Park, much smaller municipality, 10,000 people. They had a code blue last night. I don't know why New Brunswick's not good enough to put together a code blue. We certainly have a much larger homeless population here. And, I know some of these people who are really in a horrible situation if the city can't provide this. And so I would encourage you in 2020 to work to increase that threshold again. It's not good enough. It deserves to be better. And if you want to go back and watch the meetings, you can see where Mr. Jones shames me for not volunteering with the program. And then a week later, when I come to the meeting and ask to volunteer and you tell me it's okay, then he tells me, actually, absolutely not. Charlie can't volunteer with the program. It's really...
Well, there are multiple ways to volunteer, as I talked to you about writing articles about that kind of stuff, and that would help.
Okay, well...
Right?
Well, I don't think that helps address the shortage of resources for the program.
But
Right.
we're talking about somebody volunteering where the rule basically is that they didn't have any newspaper in there from any place. But I indicated to you as you talked, maybe you can do something nice to volunteer in this way.
Yeah, I've written articles about it. I got a feeling you're not going to like the article I'm going to write about it because, you're breaking promises. You're scaling back the program, and you're banning me because of my job from volunteering when you say that you need volunteers. So it's just really disgusting and sickening that, homeless folks are suffering because the city is not stepping up. And I know that it's good that we have a code blue program. I know many towns don't even have one at all. But if Highland Park can make it work, I don't see why we couldn't have had a code blue last night. That's sub-freezing temperatures. 23 degrees is just too cold to have people out there. Please have some compassion for the community. And I'm going to keep bringing this up. I hope that something's done about it so I can focus on other issues. And by the way, the offer is still on the table to volunteer. I would be open to a discussion, an agreement that everything in the place is off the record. That was never offered. That was never suggested. I was just told that explicitly I'm absolutely not allowed to volunteer. And I think it is sick and disgusting that that's going on.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anyone else in the public? Seeing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes.